What if someone doesn't come, that's the patient doesn't come to the tribunal? What happens there? Are there laws forcing them to come, or do they?
A person can't be compelled to attend
Right.
their tribunal
Right.
hearing. And people often have very good personal reasons for choosing not to.
Right.
It can be an area. It can be a means by which people exercise their autonomy, and saying,
Right.
"I just don't want to be part
Right.
of this discussion." But they can't be compelled. They're always encouraged.
Right. And are there repercussions if someone doesn't attend a tribunal hearing?
Generally, the tribunal still there can be adjournments in limited circumstances, but we don't have a broad discretion to defer and delay hearings.
Right.
So if a person doesn't attend, we might be able to adjourn it once to give
Right.
them another chance to do so, but there will be a point at which the tribunal needs to proceed to make a decision, even in the absence of their
So even in
input.
the absence, that's what I
That's
want to
right.
find out. Right,
Yeah.
right.
And so from an advocate's perspective, the repercussion is that the hearing is more likely than not to proceed in your absence, and that the tribunal will be weighing up evidence, but be weighing up the evidence without the benefit of your input, and so you may well remain on a treatment order. So if you want to have your say and you want to have your views, you need to attend the hearing.
I might jump in and probably ask a question that relates to Robyn. Robyn, you are representing legal aid. What's your role, or what does legal aid does in this situation?
Well, Legal Aid runs a statewide legal advocacy service. We call it a duty lawyer service, which means that we attend on a regular basis all of Victoria's inpatient mental health facilities, and we attend Thomas Embling, which is the forensic facility. And we will see everybody who expresses a desire to see legal aid, who has an upcoming mental health tribunal hearing. And we will do that either the day before or 2 days before the scheduled hearing. We will provide legal assistance and advice, and if someone requires it, representation.
Are there any non-legal advocacy services out there?
In addition to that, Victoria Legal Aid has just commenced on the 31st of August IMA, which is an initiative of the new Mental Health Act reforms, the 2014 reforms. And IMA stands for Independent Mental Health Advocate Service. And IMA is a non-legal advocacy service. And the purpose of IMA is to assist people who are on compulsory orders to negotiate and advocate for, say, treatment changes or for changes in circumstances during the course of either their hospital admission or during the course of their community treatment. So it's a very important initiative and assists people, but it's non-legal. Not legal.
And that service is for people who have already received a decision by the tribunal.
It's for all compulsory patients in
Right.
Victoria or patients at the risk of being made compulsory. By that, it means that you are a voluntary patient, but there may be things happening in your life that would indicate that you could become compulsory. That is put on an assessment order, which leads to a temporary treatment order.
If you're becoming aware of these things, that you might be on an order, is there someone who needs to inform you about the legal services or specific rights that you might have under the Act?
Most of the wards, all of the wards in fact, have information, and there's information that's provided by the Department of Health that is usually given out to persons on the ward on admission. In addition to that, Victoria Legal Aid has a number of booklets and information that is provided, and it's routinely provided across many inpatient services to assist people to link in with legal assistance should they require it. And finally, there are telephone numbers on wards and in clinics so that you can contact legal aid. But it's not just legal aid that provide advocacy and assistance in this area.
Who are the other bodies?
Yeah. If you are a compulsory patient, you can also go to the Mental Health Legal Centre. and they run a telephone advice line in the evenings, 2 evenings a week, Tuesday and Thursday. You could also contact the Federation of Community Legal Centres, which is the umbrella organisation for those community legal centres with grassroots community centres, and they could assist you. Or you can contact a specialised legal service such as the Women's Legal Service or the Disability Discrimination Legal Service, and they can give you advice and, if required, referrals through. But legal aid is by far the largest service provider.
Before we end, I'd like to get a summary from Matthew as well. After all, he's the president of the Mental Health Tribunal. Anything special, any important message that you want to put out there, Matthew?
I would simply say that the Act does represent quite a significant wave of reform in the area of mental health. In some aspects it's catching up with more contemporary practices. The old Act was 28 years old by the time it ceased operating.
Right.
But there's still quite a way to go. It is the start, it is the early phase of what is a major reform initiative, which, as Emily mentioned at the beginning, it's about placing people at the centre of decision making regarding their treatment and giving them a real voice and influence over those over the decisions that are made. It's about,
after all, it's their welfare that's at stake.
It's about a recovery model of care, which is about recognising that it's for a person to define what recovery looks like for them and what a good life is. So it is exciting. It's a major step forward, but it's the start of what will be an extended process.
Can I add one thing
Sure,
to what
yes.
Matthew said? We haven't talked about what I think is also a very major reform, and that is the commencement of the Mental Health Complaints Commissioner. And the Mental Health Complaints Commissioner opened doors on the 1st of July 2014 to look at and investigate complaints from compulsory patients about treatment and care. And that's a very important initiative because it's got a systemic role and an advocacy role as well as a complaints role, and it's the first time that the mental health, or an organisation like the Mental Health Complaints Commission, has been there to assist people who are compulsory patients, and they do a very good job.
All your points have been very interesting. I'd like to thank you for joining us. That's all the time we have for today. So once again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
To catch up on all our past episodes, you can go to our website www.lawhelpaustralia.org, or you can visit our YouTube channel. If you have a question or would like to join the panel, you can email us at info@lawhelpaustralia.org. Thank you and good night.